All right, everybody, welcome to the show this week. Midwest Mike's coming back at you with another show. I'm Gary.
This is Austin.
And it was a great week one in the NFL. We'll start off kind of talking about that. My picks for games were not very successful. The Cowboys looked pretty bad against Carolina on offense. They were only able to get one touchdown kind of late in the game, lost 16-8. Defense looked pretty good from what I heard, but they couldn't stop Cam Newton running the football. I was busy scouting Olathe Northwest at the time, watching film, so I didn't get to watch a lot of football. But the hometown Kansas City Chiefs is probably the big story. So we'll lead off with that. Austin, how'd you feel about the Chiefs game?
All right, so talking about the Chiefs, Chiefs look good, especially on the road. I'm trying to think if someone could throw this at me if they want to. I've talked to some other people. I don't remember how many times that the Chiefs actually got stopped on offense. I think it's only twice. And then every other time they either scored a field goal or a touchdown. 38 points. If you score 38 in the NFL, most likely you win. Most likely. And that works for us, especially because our defense is suspect. If you go just by the numbers on that, I think Philip Rivers had over 400 yards passing, but he did throw a pick, and the Chiefs also stopped him on critical third downs. I want to say this for Chiefs fans, saying that our defense is a little suspect. It is. It's definitely suspect. I would say this on a Bob Sutton defense. What his defense is all about is he'll give you yards, but his big thing is takeaways, and his big thing is also stopping you on. Is basically forcing you into third and longs, and then stopping you on third and longs, or third and 5 or whatever. And that's what they did. And that's what they did to Los Angeles, the Chargers, who I thought was going to win the game, who I actually think is a more talented team. Not on offense, but overall they are. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the offense at all. They spread the ball around a lot. And the thing is, Chiefs scored 38, and Kelsey had one catch. What does that say? And Hunt only had 47 yards, or 47 yards. What does that say? That means everyone else contributes, right?
Yep, and when you got a lot of weapons contributing, you're going to have a good football team.
They they threw the freaking ball, and you can look this play up. They threw the fullback went on a wheel route, and they scored a touchdown on that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can go on the road to Los Angeles and get a division win. I think I saw Andy Reid's record in the AFC West is like 17-2 or 19-2, something like that. And one of those two losses was a meaningless game late in the season, his first year after they already had clinched the playoffs in a home.
Yes.
So
I know that game. They clinched the playoff game, and Chase Daniel starts against the Chargers, and they only lose by I think they lose by a field goal.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about it, NFL, and you know this too. Win your division. And what has Andy Reid done since he's been with the Kansas City?
Division.
Yeah. We're in his 6th year. So we've had 5 years, and he's won the division 3 of them.
Yeah, so
and made the playoffs on 4.
Yeah, it's like the last 3 seasons or something. Yeah, he's like 17-2 or 19-2. I mean, and like we said, one of those games was kind of a meaningless game where they couldn't improve their playoff position at all. So it was like they started Chase Daniel, backup quarterback. I mean, Andy Reid did it for a long time in Philadelphia too. I mean, any coach will tell you, your guaranteed trip to the playoffs is to win your division.
It starts with winning the division, and Andy Reid is really, really, really good at game planning against those guys. And Andy Reid's also really good at so I've heard NFL guys say that you actually start game planning for week 1 after the 3rd preseason game. The 4th preseason game is left up with some other guys, and they actually start game planning before that.
Yeah.
So if he's had 2.5 weeks to game plan, I mean, it's 38 points is what you get. I mean, I know you're not. I mean, when you were in, you're a Dallas fan. I know when he's in Philly, you're not a huge Andy Reid fan, but you know how good Andy Reid is.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what he did and how good he was in Philadelphia for that long. And, now he's been good in Kansas City for 6 years. So I mean, I'm an Andy Reid fan. I hate to say it, but yeah, and the Chiefs did look very, very good coming out week one. I would say, I guess my question to you is, the Chiefs have gotten a lot of heat. You talked about their defense, trading Marcus Peters.
Yes.
He did look really good against Oakland.
Yes.
And had a pick six to kind of
Yes.
seal the game.
Yes.
So, I mean, does that I've seen a lot of anger on Twitter from Chiefs fans about that. Where do you stand?
So I think it's totally justified. My only thing is I was thinking about cap. I was thinking about cap space. So in the future, if you want to try to pay all these guys, right? If you want to try to pay Hill, you want to try to pay Mahomes, you want to try to pay Kelsey, you got to have the cap space. And how do you have that? By not having an all-pro top 4 corner who's going to want big money. Is that justification for trading him this year when his contract is up in 2 years? No. But something must have been going on behind the scenes we don't know about. Because he goes to, I was going to say, we talk about football this week. A lot of things went a little different than we thought. But the Rams and the Raiders game went exactly how we thought.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the Rams looked really good. The Raiders did not. John Gruden, coming back to the sideline after 10 years has got to be tough.
That's tough against the Rams.
Yeah. And you're playing one of the most loaded rosters in the league.
They're built. They're built to win right now.
Yeah. Goff had a good night. Gurley had a good night.
Defense had a good night.
Yeah, defense had a good night. That is what it is for those guys. But yeah, so they'll bounce back. I think the Raiders play Denver this week.
Is it Denver? Is it? Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think it is Denver this week.
Denver's favored.
And
3?
I'll say this also. Khalil Mack in Chicago looked really good too. And, that's a guy that was playing, had just got traded. He doesn't know that Chicago defensive playbook yet. But they were telling him, hey, you go line up and rush the passer, man.
Right. No, I was about to text you that night. The game was going on. I was going to text you, dude, he's not in on every play, right?
No.
You can see that. So the packages that he's in on is the plays that he's rushing the quarterback.
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
What was John Gruden thinking? And Chris Collinsworth said, on the broadcast, that Khalil Mack told him, if John Gruden would have just called me, I'd have stayed. But John Gruden made no contact. And then John Gruden, obviously, on Monday night says, Khalil Mack obviously didn't want to be here.
That's crap.
When John Gruden took over, Khalil Mack's side of it is that Gruden never reached out. Wouldn't you think that? I know Gruden's an offensive guy, but he has to know how valuable a pass rusher like that is. If you can get after the passer, then you can play some good defense.
And Gary, this is a guy that has no off-field problems, 0.
Yeah.
And by what everybody says, is a leader in the locker room, a leader. And 26, 27, something like that. Yeah. He's not even in his prime yet.
He immediately makes the Chicago Bears a contender in the NFC North.
Literally, if Chicago is playing anyone else, they win that game. But because they're playing Green Bay, because they have
Aaron Rodgers.
I think Brady is the GOAT, but as far as more talented right now, it's Rodgers. To me, Rodgers is the most talented now. Career, it's Brady. But as of right now, it is Aaron Rodgers. He comes back, and that's Aaron Rodgers. The thing about Green Bay is they don't give him, think about this.
He has no help.
When's the last time they got a big free agent? Honestly.
No, I don't know.
They don't even try to get Des Bryant.
Yeah. And here's the deal, that game was 20-0 at halftime, the Bears. If Aaron Rodgers does not come out and play in the second half, obviously the Bears win.
Yes.
Packers were playing terrible. I'm turning the game off. There's probably thousands of other people across the country turning the game off. Maybe millions of people turning the game off.
Yes.
But because Aaron Rodgers is coming back in, the Green Bay Packers have a chance to come back and win this game. And so you're going to watch. And then all of a sudden, what do? They go down and score. They get a stop. They go down. I mean, it's crazy.
And the thing that makes Aaron Rodgers maybe even more amazing than Brady right now is Rodgers can make those super deep throws.
Yeah.
Like deep throws, really nice. Rodgers is very fun to watch. Brady is very fun to watch right now. But like I'm saying, like that's when the Oakland traded that dude away, I'm happy because he's out of my division, and you can see it when Oakland plays against Chicago and they don't have a pass rush. Or I'm sorry, when Oakland plays against LA and they don't have a pass rush. And Goff goes off, Gurley kind of goes off. There's no pass rush there, and so when there's no pass rush, you're gonna get beat by 20.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: as far as power rankings go, we're talking Monday Night Football and talking through the week. I would almost have the Rams 1.
Yeah, I mean,
because they were the most impressive.
Rams, yeah, Patriots look good. They did end up covering that 6.5 spread against Houston.
Yeah,
because they won by 7.
Yep.
So
I think that spread on the Oakland game was like what, 4?
I mean, it was something close. Yeah, and LA just blew it away.
Blew it away.
Marcus
Marcus Peters pick 6. They had three interceptions on.
Yeah, maybe
3 on Derek Carr.
Yeah, Carr looked terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing about the division is, we're in Kansas City, so we'll talk a little. I am slightly biased on Chiefs, but I'll say this about those guys: Derek Carr, Raiders, 3 picks; Denver, Case Keenum, 3 picks; Philip Rivers, 1 pick; Mahomes, 0.
But Denver did win.
Denver won. So Keenum threw the ball through 3 interceptions, and they still won the game. Does that say that Denver's good, or does that say
that Denver's defense is really good?
Say Denver's defense is really good, and it also says
Seattle's down.
Seattle's down.
Which Denver's my pick to win the division. I'm sticking with that.
If their defense stays like that, where they can come back from 3 interceptions, they are good.
I've been debating on changing my pick from the Cowboys because how bad they looked. I mean. I didn't see any highlights other than Cam Newton during that game. So, Dak, he's on one of my fantasy teams. He didn't do anything special. I think he had less than 10 points.
Yeah,
fantasy-wise. Zeke had a decent day. I think he had 15 or 20 fantasy points.
And Carolina's good.
Carolina's good. And Carolina's not bad. But so I don't think it's complete panic time yet because they did only lose by 8.
And it's 1 game.
But I will say this: if they come out and stink it up against the Giants on Sunday Night Football, it might be a little panic time. Speaking of the Giants, Saquon Barkley, good debut.
Busted one out. Busted like a 60-yarder out. Before that was kind of hurting,
getting bottled up.
Yeah, which is all right because the Jacksonville's defense is stellar.
Yeah,
and
Jacksonville has a good defense.
The Giants losing to Jacksonville by 5 didn't say nothing because Jacksonville's good. Some people have Jacksonville possibly making the Super Bowl because their defense is so good.
Yeah.
So for Saquon to get over 100 yards against them says something about him. Beckham has a good game. Rest of the receivers, whatever. Eli, pick 6, right? Pick 6?
I don't remember.
Through an INT. So Eli's kind of but another thing about that. But your division's tough. Here we go. Chiefs fans who hate on Alex Smith. Guess what he did this weekend?
He tore it up in Washington.
He was super accurate, no deep throws. I don't know what the thing was, but
I want to say he was like 13 for 16, or maybe
a little more than that. But I think he only missed
4 or 5 throws.
4 or 5 throws, and then 2 touchdowns, and then Adrian Peterson 100 yards.
Yeah,
a touchdown.
So
Washington's not bad.
Yeah, so anything else NFL-wise before we kind of wrap up with the NFL for the week?
No, I would say this. Chiefs fans Mahomes is very, very good. Don't be surprised if there's a week where he has a bounce down. He wasn't actually his numbers aren't. He has 4 touchdowns the first week, but not ultra impressive. A little inaccurate, but the thing is you got to see a lot of stuff he does, which